All right, hey y'all, what's going on? It's your girl Aisha, otherwise known as Miss Champagne. Welcome to Growing by Faith. Today I have some cups with some soil in it. We are going to be up potting some of these seedlings that I started in August. It is officially September. Happy Labor Day. And I'm going to show you guys when I decide to do my transplants. What do I look for? I'm not quite ready to have everything go out because not everything is the size that I want it. I'm out here with my little guy on the patio today, and he's playing with his bubbles. All right, so I have to harden off some of the starts that I did inside, which are the broccoli rabe, the Savoy cabbage. I'm going to be putting some of those in cups. I had some that managed to send their roots down into the Vero, what was it called? The indoor gardening system, which has like fertilizer and stuff in it. So those were a lot bigger. And I put some of those out in the garden actually already. These I up potted a few days ago. I want them to get a little bit bigger than this, and then I'll be ready to put them in the gardening bed. So what I look for when I'm doing my transplants, on the surface, I'm going to look for at least 4 true leaves, which are these. These little leaves down here are the seedling leaves, and then these are the true leaves. I hear you, man. So some of these are definitely ready, and then I want to say this is the early cabbage. So I definitely have some of these that's ready. The second thing I look for are the roots coming out the bottom. Now there's some strings coming out of the bottom here because I had them kind of wicking into the water system that I had on the inside. But here you can see roots coming out the bottom. That's also another signal that your plants are ready to be put into a bigger pot. Now I could put these technically directly in the ground or the the raised bed, but I'll show you what happens if you put them out there too early. All right, so we are in the raised bed area. I have some pretty big, this one is the Savoy cabbage, and then that's a broccoli rabe back here. I do have it covered because the insects are still out, but I had one here. Careful, man, careful. And it was already eaten. As you can see, there's nothing left but one leaf. So if you put your starts out too soon, roly-polies and, millipedes, stuff like that can eat your young transplants. But if it's big enough, then usually they won't bother the bigger leaves. But they'll eat it if it's too young or small. All right, so, ooh, it's hot on this patio. I'm gonna do these because these are probably gonna be the easiest, only because I can pop my finger in the bottom and just push it up. Let me prepare one of the cups. Oh no. And I'm just going to prepare by making a hole about 2 inches, which is about here, deep. And I'm going to let these sit on the patio outside to get used to the outside temperatures and the sun. And that's really what hardening off is. And then you want to press that down so that you have good soil contact. No air pockets. And then you have a nice transplant just like that. Now when I'm transplanting, I actually water last. But when I'm seed starting, I like all of my soil to be damp. So where's my marker? Well, I can't find what I did with my marker. I'll just do all the Savoy cabbage first, that way I don't get confused. All right, so let's repeat that process. We're gonna make a hole about 2 inches deep. And I probably have about 4 to 5 inches of soil inside of these Soho cups. And they have holes in the bottom of them. All right, let's do this one. I'm gonna remove that string. I don't need that anymore. Now, if your seedlings are leggy, this is a good time to try to correct it. You can bury it a little bit deeper, kind of mound the soil up around it to correct it. But you don't want the soil to go past the true set of leaves. Or I'm at the seedling leaves, sorry. So up to the seedling leaves, you can place soil up until that point. Let's see. That one's still kind of tiny. We only got 3 leaves on these 2. So I may wait. I'm just going to transplant them now. That way I can have that seed tray available. And then I'll show you how to do it in one that does not have that hole in the bottom. Sometimes you can use a spoon. If you can't get it out. Or like a butter knife or something. You just want to get as much of the root system as possible. And most of your seedlings are forgiving. Again, things that like to be direct sown, like beans and squash, may not be as forgiving. So if you're starting that from seed and you plan on transplanting it, start it in a bigger cup so that you don't have to worry about uppotting. You can just plant it in here, and then when it gets big enough, plant it in the ground. So that way you're not disturbing the roots. All right, last Savoy cabbage. And as you can see, these root systems aren't quite as developed as the other ones that are bigger. But big enough. Again, they're not going in the ground just yet because they're not the size that I want them to be. Because I don't want them to get eaten as soon as I put them out there. All right, so that's all of the Savoy cabbage. I'm just going to use this name tag for now. Put that aside. All right, then if you hear me sniffling, I apologize. I am a little under the weather. All right, so this one is my original seed starting things. I think I ordered it as like a package off Amazon. But I just kind of pinch these to loosen them up. And then I'm going to gently pull up on a plant. I always pull where the leaves meet the stem. So never just the stem by itself or the leaves by themselves, but where the leaves hit the stem. And as you can see, this has a pretty good root system on it. So Let's make this nice and deep, at least 2 inches. Push that in there. Again, pressing down because you don't want air pockets. And everything's going to shift a little bit when you water. All right. So this one is the early golden cabbage. My dog wants to come outside. He sees me on the patio. Alright, so we're gonna loosen it up a little bit. Again, I pulled it with very gently with my pointer and my middle finger where the seedling leaves meet the stem. And then you're just gonna press down all the soil around it. And sorry, it's inside of a Soho cup, so you can't really see exactly what I'm doing. But I'm just pressing in the soil. And you can technically fill these cups up to the brim, but after about a week or so, I hope that they're going to be the size that I need to put them out in the garden. So I'm not worried about them of needing to put them in a deeper cup. All right, I'm going to repeat the step for at least 2 more of these that are big enough to transplant. So just these 2. These are still kind of young. I'm going to leave those indoors for a little bit longer, and then I'll be back. All right, I have all of my seedlings up potted. I have some rainwater mixed with some fish fertilizer, and I'm going to water them in with this. So it'll give them a little boost. When you're fertilizing your seedlings, try to use an organic fertilizer. I like to use fish fertilizer. It's high in nitrogen, which you want your transplants to have nice green growth. So you want to choose a fertilizer that's high in nitrogen, which is the N of that NPK ratio that you'll see on your fertilizer packets. And I'm going to let these sit on my patio for about another week or so, depending on the size of some of the transplants. If I feel like they're big enough to go out into the garden, which is at least 4 inches high, then I feel like they won't be as vulnerable. I'll still keep them covered with the nets, but you don't have to worry about insects that live in the soil munching on them because they're more mature. But if they're young, then you may come out and then your whole seedling is missing, or just the top of your seedling is missing, and you've had a cutworm or something like that. All right. Let's take it off the tripod so you can get a nice look at all of the transplants. So we have the Savoy cabbage, the early golden cabbage, and then some of the broccoli. I found a tray of that I needed to also up pot. The broccoli probably could have waited. Some of these only have 2.5 true leaves, but it was close enough. All right, so I'm going to start the hardening off process, and these will be staying outside on the patio. My patio is east facing, so it gets probably 4 hours of morning sun, which is pretty good for your seedlings. All right, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Share this video. Let me know in the comments how your seedlings are going, if you started seeds or if you're just now transplanting in the garden already. Let me know what you guys are doing. All right, bye.